You know what I like? I like Sydney Sweeney's good old-fashioned American personality. I'm going to be honest. Sydney Sweeney is a person that I just don't care about. Just like at all. I saw her in Anyone But You where she was god awful and had zero chemistry with Glenn Powell. But, that's whatever. She's doing her thing. She's successful. So good for her, right? Well, she recently got into this weird controversy where she did an American Eagle ad.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
So I guess the argument that some people are making is that indicating that white skin and blue eyes and blonde hair is like some kind of eugenics thing. And I'll be honest, for the people that are actually mad about this, I do think that this is an example of like weird leftist extremism or whatever. Like, just because the Holocaust happened doesn't mean that liking blonde hair and blue eyes makes you a Nazi. Like, that's just silly. And the reality is that there are people on social media making that argument.
You guys are complaining about that Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it. That's Nazi propaganda. Wow. I thought it was gonna be like kind of bad.
And I do think that it is true that if a lot of these people saw an ad where like a black person was told that they have great genes, they wouldn't think twice about it. They'd be like, oh, that's a fun double entendre or whatever. So yeah, like, I think it's perfectly fine to go after these people and mock them for being cringe. But something that I noticed was that Republicans are not just doing that. Hide yo kids, hide yo couches, because J.D. Vance is coming in with a little sneaky tactic.
Yeah, my political advice to the Democrats is continue to tell everybody who thinks Sydney Sweeney is attractive is a Nazi. that appears to be their actual strategy. I mean, it actually reveals something pretty interesting about the Dems, though, which is that you have like a normal all-American beautiful girl doing like a normal jeans ad, right? They're trying to sell jeans to kids in America, and they have managed to so unhinge themselves over this thing. And it's like, you guys, did you learn nothing from the November 2024 election? Like, I actually thought that one of the lessons they might take is we're going to be less crazy. The lesson they have apparently taken is we're going to attack people as Nazis for thinking Sydney Sweeney is beautiful. Great strategy, guys. That's how you're going to win the midterms, especially young American men.
Literally no Democratic politician has commented on this. What are you even yapping about, that this is their strategy to win the midterms? I mean, this is obviously Republicans just being insanely desperate. Woke bad guys, look, woke bad, look at the woke people, look, woke. Please, for the love of God, stop asking us about Epstein. Look, they're mad at Sydney Sweeney, look, woke bad guys, right? Please stop asking us about the 90 deals in 90 days. I'm sorry, I have a retarded boss who just says shit. Like, it is just so obvious that Trump is an absolute disaster, and so they're trying to blow up this Sydney Sweeney thing into something bigger than it actually is. I mean, look at this Fox News segment that's trying to, like, dredge up this older Sydney Sweeney ad.
Hey, Sydney. Your signature scoop is ready.
Thank you.
What? That's so cool. Yeah. It can be.
Summer's looking sweet at Baskin-Robbins.
Well, now the commercial is making the rounds on social media, drawing criticism from both sides of the aisle. One online critic says this is a big fail because, quote, ice cream tanks your testosterone, spikes your risk of diabetes, and wrecks your metabolism. I bet our HHS secretary would agree with that. Another says this ad is going to melt liberal minds, and now they want to eat ice cream.
Oh my gosh, this ad is really making the rounds. That's why those were the two best examples of controversy that we could find. Like, what? Not for nothing, but it is also just, like, funny that conservatives are even banding around Sydney Sweeney at all when she's, let's be real, basically just an OnlyFans model. that happens to be in movies.
She's not a porn star. She doesn't do OnlyFans. She's literally acting and she's making a bag doing products and sales.
What about the soap?
It's okay because she makes
I
a
know the
bag.
soap is
So
a little
are
far, but
OnlyFans
what-
girls models now?
She's
What's the
an
difference?
actress. If you can't differentiate that, that's very
You
stupid. I don't know
can.
what
If
to
you're an
say.
actress and you take off your clothes and you do pornography because you're an actress, you're still a prostitute.
It's not pornography. She's not a prostitute. Apparently, you
It
haven't
is
risen up around actors and
pornography.
actresses. You have no
Doing
idea
sex
what it entails
scenes,
or who they are.
doing nude sex scenes, showing your body is naked is pornography.
Honestly, shout out to Melanie Mack for being a consistent conservative, at least in this one sense. I don't know what the rest of her political takes are. But, like, it truly is astounding how MAGA and Trump have just completely debased the Republican Party, and they are, like, actual demon spawn that are, like, just completely unprincipled. Conservatives were all about the police. We gotta respect police. Oh, but we'll defend Trump pardoning people who attacked police officers on January 6th. That was actually totally valid for him to do. We are good Christians who are against OnlyFans. But Sydney Sweeney is our new representative. And it would be like one thing if Sydney Sweeney was like a normal actress who, you know, maybe occasionally does a sex scene here or two. But like Sydney Sweeney's entire shtick is sex appeal, right? Like she's doing all these horny ads. She's doing horny movies. It's like she can't act. She's basically a porn star. And hey, I ain't got no problem with that. Some might say I appreciate it. But like you guys are rallying around her. What did JD Vance say? She's an all-American girl.
Of like a normal all-American beautiful girl doing.
Really? The hypocrisy of the Republican Party at the moment is just genuinely disgusting, and I sincerely have no respect for any of these fucking people, bro. But I do go back to my reaction to, you know, what JD Vance said, where I was like, the Democrats haven't even said anything about this. And it's like, yeah, the Democrats haven't actually said anything about this. As stupid as all of this is, they probably should. AOC should shoot out a tweet that's like, Sydney Sweeney ad is fine. Stop freaking out, guys. Get that Zoran Mamdani guy to make an Instagram video saying that, you know, the people freaking out about it are cringe and gay or whatever. Because the unfortunate reality is that American voters do not care about policy. They don't care about standards. They don't care about morals. This is just where we're at as a country. As much as I despise it, and as much as I despise the American people for being this way, you kind of have to engage in this stupid culture war stuff, right? You know, the moment where I became truly black-pilled, where I just like realized that this country was just completely cooked, it was during a conversation with somebody, and they were talking about how awful Trump is. You know, they were specifically talking about ICE literally rounding up immigrants, both legal and not legal, and sending them to Auschwitz. You know, I remember being a kid being like, man, the Holocaust, that's so wacky. Like, how would that ever happen? Like, how would citizens just be okay with that? You know, that's, I guess I can't really wonder anymore. Anyways, I was talking to this person and they were like really upset about Trump. They were like, man, this is awful. And so I was like, okay. And this is a person that didn't vote for either Kamala or Trump. And I was asking them like, okay, if you could go back in time, would you vote for Kamala? And they looked at me in my eyes, dead serious. No, I can't bring myself to vote for Kamala because of like trans people. And I'm going to be honest, I was like actually stunned. I was aghast. I was like, you feel so passionately about, I think it's fair to say, like human rights abuses when it comes to like immigrants, but you still wouldn't bring yourself to vote for Kamala because of like trans women in sports. And that was the moment that I realized that conservatives, through like culture war nonsense, have like genuinely brainwashed, just completely brain broken, like a good chunk of the American population. It's not just MAGA. right? Like, it's not just the diehard occultists. All the centrists or whatever that didn't vote for Kamala, they're part of the brainwashing. And the reality is that the Democrats need to get involved in this stuff, right? Like, they can't just ignore culture war stuff. I think that whenever stuff like this pops up, I think you have to get in there and you have to actively distance yourself away from the extremist leftist people, right? Like, they should be distancing themselves away from the people that are saying that Sydney Sweeney is a Nazi. Because again, as blackpilling as it is, the reality is that there will be some people that think that what Trump is doing with immigrants is horrendous. You know, they're not like the diehard MAGA people who literally don't have a soul and are demon spawn, you know, who think that because an illegal immigrant is inherently a criminal, they deserve to be thrown into Auschwitz without due process. But they're totally fine voting for a guy who tried to steal the 2020 election, by the way. Absolute traitor to this country. But God forbid we allow people who we've already allowed to build up lives here stay here. No. We need to completely uproot them from their life. That's definitely the way to go. Anyways, what was I saying? There are going to be people out there that think that what Trump is doing is awful. But because of this Sydney Sweeney thing, because the Democrats have allowed people like J.D. Vance, people like Fox News to connect Democratic politicians to these cringe, you know, leftist extremist people on Twitter. They're allowing the conservatives to dishonestly make the connection. There are going to be people that either don't vote or vote for, you know, Republicans. As stupid as it is, I genuinely think that the Democrats are really dropping the ball on this retarded issue. And I think it matters. So, anyways, I hate my life. I hate this country at the moment. I don't have any positive outlook. Bye. Oh, I also realized that I should start plugging my second channel at the ends of these videos. Go subscribe to my second channel. Link in the description below if you want to hear me talk about movies and stuff. Okay, actually bye this time.